What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to an unbelievable day in the Lake District. So Hopegill Head has been on my radar for quite a while now, so today seemed like the perfect conditions to make that happen. Absolutely scorching, it's about 24 degrees already. Knocking back as much water as possible before we set off so that we're not carrying a load. And we're just waiting for Caleb to update his brakes and put some new brake pads in. But yeah, mission today is Hopegill Head, and we're going to be going up via Grisedale Pike, but a different alternative route to the one that I took in a previous video, if you caught that one. So yeah, let's get out there, make it happen. Looks like a proper day for it. So if you're a regular watcher or you've seen my videos before, you might recognise this little stretch of track that we're on just now. This is the path that takes you alongside Grisedale, which is just up on the right, Grisedale Pike. And we've decided we're going to do Grisedale Pike as well as Hopegill Head. Caleb's with us today and he's not done it before, so it'd be good to kill two birds with one stone. So you've got the slate mine just on the right hand side. Grisedale Pike just above me on the right, and we're going to be taking that path just left of me. You'll see the river. We'll be crossing that river and then up along that ridge up that way. It's 11 o'clock in the morning and 26 degrees, so we've picked an absolute real day to be carrying the bike up a mountain. But yeah, it's going to be decent, so we'll catch back up on the climb. Man down. Yeah, so both absolutely failed hard on crossing the river without getting wet. So if you do come here, there's a challenge for you. Let us know in the comments if you've managed to do it. I think I did a lot better last time on it. But yeah, just over there on the right hand side, that's the old slate mine. And we're going to be following this path just up the right, up to where it splits. And then, like I say, Caleb's not done Grisedale before, so we're going to head there first before dropping in and across to Hopegill Head, but some view down the valley. Some of them will be open. Just stopping for a little breather. We're only about 3 miles in, but that heat is absolutely insane. You can probably see how shiny I'm looking. But yeah, we've just crawled along the side of Grisedale Pike, just this track just behind me. And that leads to crossing the river just at the back, and then making our way just up this path where it splits into two. And like I say, we're going to go across to the right and follow it all the way over to Grisedale before going back on ourselves to Hopegill Head. But unbelievable days and really superb scenery. Couldn't ask for better. But yeah, it's just a bit of a mammoth push-up now. Sorry if I'm spinning camera and you're getting dizzy, but yeah, just a bit of a mammoth push-up now. Aiming for just that middle bit. You might be able to see the walkers just up at the top. So yeah, we'll catch back up when we get up there. Definitely not riding. It's too stony, too steep, and too hot. So yeah, we'll touch base in about 20 minutes hopefully. So just taking a little breather, but just to show you where we've come from. You should be able to see that path just on the left. So that follows along Grisedale Pike, comes around the back of this, and then just up this path here. Steep, loose, and it's definitely a push-up or a carry. You're definitely not riding up. Hopefully Caleb's demonstrating that it's definitely not rideable. The heat is absolutely insufferable today, like. Thumbs up, thumbs down. So yeah, we're probably 3/4 of the way now up, so we're just following this and it goes up and round the corner, traverse across over to this little ridge here that you see, onto the main summit, and then we're going to be coming back across, all the way across there, which is the other side of this little ridge here to that's where we're heading. So for the first time in a while, a little bit of actual riding of the bikes rather than pushing and carrying. So we're now at the top, and just in front of me to the left you'll see Hopegill Head, which is what we're going to be going up eventually. But we're heading right now towards Grisedale Pike. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind. But just down to the right is where we've come up. And then we're traversing back on ourselves. So far the hardest part of the day has just been the heat. Fortunately we have brought plenty of water with us, so should be fine. But if you are coming and doing this, definitely bring plenty of fluids. Make sure you've got plenty of spares. Maybe a change of clothing depending on the weather, because you are pretty exposed when you're up here. And you are very isolated as well, so prepare for the worst, and that way, should things turn south, you kind of give yourself a fighting chance. But the riding, easy enough so far. Like I say, a lot of it's been push up, and we're going to have to get off the bikes again in a sec. Both of us on manual bikes, or non-e-bikes. Caleb on a Santa Cruz Nomad, mine being a Mega Tower. Yeah, we'll touch base again once I'm back on the bike. Time to get off and walk. So just touching base while we have a little bit of a rest, any excuse for a breather. So we're making our way now up over this little ridge here, and then onto Grisedale Pike, and then we're going to be coming back down along this track and down up that track there, and following it up over and down Hopegill Head, and following that ridge line all the way down, eventually down into the valley below. So that's what I've set out to do a few months back and just never ended up happening, but still had a cracking day that day. So yeah, that's the main aim for today, is Hopegill Head, and to ride that ridge and check it out. But I don't know if you can see, but in the distance you've got the Isle of Man visible on a clear day. And you've just got 360 degree panoramic views, including passed out Caleb. Absolutely some day for it, so we're going to get to the top, have a bit of lunch, and then tackle Hopegill. Easily done. Oh, it's windy. What a view. Nice to be on the bike and riding it rather than it ride me. Not sure how much you'll hear in this wind. It's definitely picked up once we climbed over that little bit of a summit. What a view. So we've just got this last little bit of a push up, and that'll take us to the summit of Grisedale. And then we'll be riding back this way, up and across to Hopegill Head. And honestly, I'm absolutely itching to go and get that done. It looks absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, we'll check back in about 15 minutes on the summit. So made it to the top of Grisedale Pike. You can see Caleb somewhere just on the summit there. So we've just stopped for flapjack, a little bit of something to drink before we get going again. We're going to be heading over to Hopegill Head just over there. So we've done all the hard bits, a lot of push up to get to this point. So now the fun should start. If you haven't already, make sure that you give the video a like down at the bottom and subscribe to the channel, it'd be much appreciated. And hopefully you enjoy the downhill footage. Looking forward to doing this. It's been on the list for quite a while. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint, but that first bit looks pretty steep and we're going to be going down that way. So yeah, next video will be a bit of downhill riding. Starting the descent off Grisedale summit, and now we're heading to Hopegill Head. Feels a little bit strange actually riding the bike, it's been a while. Fast and loose. Caleb absolutely rocketing. Left. Oh, maybe not. I thought it was left. Shortcut. Really could do with that wind dropping a bit before we get to Hopegill Head, because that side of the valley does look exposed. Cheers. Huh? Line choice. Yeah, now that wind's dropped down a bit, you might be able to hear me a bit better. So basically making our way back up to that high point just on straight ahead of us, working our way across to the right hand side, which is Hopegill Head. So be a little bit more climbing, but then hopefully once we get to Hopegill Head, that'll be it. Downhill all the way from there. That was a nice little section of downhill just off the summit of Grisedale. Like I say, nice to be actually riding the bike rather than pushing it. Feels a bit weird on the legs once you've been pushing for that long. Just as a heads up, took us just under 2 hours to get to the summit of Grisedale from where we'd parked. But of course that's with stops, drink stops, filming stops, things of that nature. So you probably can do it quicker. Thank you. Thank you. That was fun while it lasted. Right, back on the push-up. So now on the top of Hopegill Head, with Grisedale Pike just over there. Made our way down over crossing up, and we're going to be heading down the, not less popular, but I've not seen anyone use it. This is Ladyside Pike. So this first bit, I don't know if you'll be able to see, Caleb's just going to start carrying, but honestly it's a sheer drop. It's not rideable, and I don't know if you can hear the wind, but it's pretty savage. You can see Caleb's top fluttering. So it's going to be a carry bike to, we estimate, there, before we can let off the brakes and disappear into the sunset. But the other side, that's the more popular route that goes along that ridge, Whiteside Ridge. But we're going to have a crack and take this one. But yeah, there you can see Caleb. So yeah, we'll get this carry out the way and then we'll check back in. So just capturing how steep, or attempting to capture how steep this part of the descent is. So you'll see from the shadow I've got my bike strapped to my back, just so I'm not carrying a dead weight in front of me. But it's very much take your time, watch your footing. And you can see just where I'm heading now with Caleb, but you can see underfoot, realistically not rideable, especially with that drop off to the left. Definitely don't want to be rolling down there, especially not 2 weeks before a trip to Morzine, which absolutely cannot wait for. I think realistically I've only got another 2 rides before packing the bike away and getting ready for Morzine. But if that video is of interest, packing for Morzine and what to take and how to pack your bike bag, let me know in the comments and I'll make it happen. We'll get one done. Like I say, I went there last year, so a little bit wiser, a little bit older this time round, so I know what to expect and what I can and can't pack, what I should and shouldn't pack. Make it a little bit easier. But yeah, I'm just going to focus on this descent and we'll catch up just once I get past that shale section. Well, that was the interesting descent, and that was interesting to say the least. So, back on the bikes, hopefully make a bit of headway. But even this section's hellishly steep and shale surfy. And off the brakes. Sweet, made it down in one piece. And then hopefully we've got a bit of a ridge ride coming up. Little pause. Can we go up or over? Round?
It looks like it curls round, yeah.
Stay tuned. Yeah. We'll just jump back on that, but just watch the tight corners. Beautiful views. Yes. Birds flying in the wind, playing. So we've still not lost a massive amount of altitude from Grisedale. Not watching where I'm going. Yeah, so we've still not lost a massive amount of altitude, so at some point there is a big descent coming. But it's just not yet because it looks like we're off and pushing again. So yeah, we'll get this push up out the way and then we'll touch base. So just at the top of Ladyside Pike, or rather midway through. So we've come from that peak just there that you can see, and that first section's what we had to sort of scramble down, ridden along that ridge to where we are now, and then it looks as though we're going to drop down hopefully into the valley below and get some decent descent miles under the belt. So this bit's all new territory, so we'll see how it goes. Steady away and no heroes. I don't know if that's a path that we're following or not, but it's like a stone path or a barrier or something. I actually thought when we saw that that was what we would follow. Evidently not. It's fast this section. Yo! Very fast. Drag the brake a bit. Suspension finally earning its money after being pushed up all day. Yeah, it's fast this. I don't know the speed at the minute, but feels pretty quick. And then heavy on the anchors for the gate. Yo! I was saying, I thought we actually rode on that path. It's not a path, it just looks like an old brick wall. Yeah. Right, we'll get through this gate, we'll catch back up, 'cause I'm not sure. Yeah, so back through the gate, I'm just going to follow Cam Caleb, just so you can have a bit of a better idea of what's going on. I always find that watching somebody you get more of an idea than seeing like FPV or first person view. But yeah, this is nice and fast, pretty flowy, not techie, suitable for all ages and levels. Oh, this is decent fun, this. Like, this reminds me a little bit of stage 1 at Boltby Bash, if anyone watching's ever done that. That wind's still strong even though we've dropped down. Still got unbelievable views. So what I mentioned was Isle of Man earlier, that bit over there. Apparently, looking at the map, it looks as though it's a little bit of Scotland. Isle of Man is actually just over to my left. I don't know if you'll spot that. Let's catch Caleb up a bit. Yeah, I don't know if you'll spot the Isle of Man. At the minute, you might have to wait. Yeah, this is really good fun. Really good fun. Makes up for the climb. Just nice and free flowing. Good fun. Lots of opportunity to pick up some speed. Got him. I think this is where we veer off, isn't it? Looks as though it drops sharply to the right. I think we're going left. We'll double check the maps and I'll let you know. Yeah, we're overlooking now sort of the Whinlatter area. Depending on the legs, we might try and get a Whinlatter off piste. Nice one. Must be left.
Yeah, it's just straight out of
Let's see what we can do. That looks like it's the path, but that looks like it's just a path. I think the off-piste is actually in that lot.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Let me check. So yeah, when you come through the gate, if you're doing this route, go left. You didn't what? No, I definitely didn't pedal. Ah! Sorry, man. My back slid out then. Right. Path's a bit tricky to follow. Yeah, you've got to be a bit loose. Some off-camber sections, and it's even though we've had nothing but baking sun for Lord knows how long, the grass is still a little bit moist in places. Shortcut. It's a long old descent. Like I say, the path's a bit. Oh, that's better. Opens out a bit. Yeah, I've not cranked in. I don't know how long. You're barely touching the brakes. It's just nice, fast flowing. A little bit XC style riding, I suppose. Nothing overly technical or overly steep. It's heavy on the quads, or the thighs more than anything, just maintaining that squat position. Or the attack position, as mountain bike coaches will call it. Right, where we're going here? Down again. This would be a good race course, to be fair. Hard rock, hard moors, that kind of vibe. Kind of just pointing and shooting at this point, assuming that we're going the right way. So far so good. Whoa! Back end kicking out naughty there. Right, and then hard on the anchors. Find out where we are and what's going on. Ooh.
Oh, I wish you were follow cameras there.
All over.
Came back on my bike, was basically that angle. Just that corner there.
Sliding out.
All back end out.
Brakes are ticking like crazy.
Well, at least mine have been nice and bedded in now.
So just made it down that descent that you've just watched there, and we've joined this little road. Quite an intense downhill, to be fair. I think that were about maybe a 10-minute downhill, do you reckon?
Probably about that.
And it was just constant vibrations through the hands and suspension working overtime. It's really nice, really fast, really flowy, really good fun. But yeah, it was quite intense on the arms and the shoulders, but honestly really, really good fun. So yeah, this road that we're on now will take us down and sort of in towards Whinlatter. So it's like a big, essentially circular route, barring the fact that, like I say, we took a little bit of a detour to go and do Grisedale so that Caleb could bag Grisedale Pike. But yeah, other than that, a circular route. So far we are just under 4 hours in, round about 4 hours in. That includes the uphill, stoppages, lunchtime, all that sort of thing. So if you are doing it, I'd definitely sort of schedule more or less a full day. And it definitely is for us, having to travel sort of 2.5 hours from the northeast. But the descent was absolutely superb, like.
Yeah, we went 3 miles after the fire, and it looks like it's uphill. Well, it says it's uphill, but it's...
Aye. So just on the left you might recognise Whinlatter Visitor Centre, that's the main car park. We've just called in there for a quick pint, a little bit of liquid refreshment, be rude not to. And now just heading back to the van. So yeah, hopefully you can still hear me over the wind just as we're going down this road. I'll come out of it in a sec. So yeah, all told, it looks as though it's going to have been about a 12-mile day. So that's starting just down at the bottom of this road, working our way up to Grisedale Pike, then across to Hopegill Head, and then finally down Lady something Pike. I'll put it in the video itself. But yeah, and then back to the van itself. So yeah, about a 12-mile loop all in. Not too sure on the elevation, but I'll post that in this video as well, just in this bit, once I stop the Strava. And if anybody's got any interest in the Strava itself, so you can recreate the route, just pop a little note in the comments, and I'll post the link if people want it. But appreciate you all checking in, and hope you've enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one, which could well be me packing the bike up for Morzine. I'm not too sure how much riding I'll get in between now and when we go. 2 weeks till departure, and kind of erring on the edge of safety. I don't want to be riding too much beforehand in case any sort of injury. I want to kind of arrive in Morzine fresh, ready to rumble and ready to go. But yeah, I'll do a bike pack video and we'll catch up then. But take it easy, look after yourselves, and hopefully see you on the trail soon.